Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Drifting. We are on episode number 13, the lucky one. So, that's going to be something to look forward to. It's nice to be back after a week's break. Hopefully everyone has recovered and is feeling better.
We've absolutely forgiven you. Everything's fine now.
Good. I have had some words thrown at me in my Discord.
I had a wonderful time.
Yeah?
You shot somebody's head off. It was great.
Well,
Twice. Well, three times technically, actually.
Bravo.
3 times lady.
So, with that said, shall we get into it?
Are you recording?
I am recording.
And let's get into
And the
it.
cameras are in the right position.
Oh my god, he's on a roll.
Who are you?
So, last week, we started off with a little intro and a montage of what has become known as Crazy Taxi, Cowboy Bebop bounty hunting, and or it could be like 70s show bounty hunters, and hard space shipbreaker. There were creepy religious people who got on the ship and were creepy. I think that's the agreement that everyone had, was that they were extremely creepy and weird. We tracked down the fugitive, the thief, the criminal, who did a runner, and we once again battled the Titan that was the engine room, the electrified engine room, no less. Oh, and as a sidebar, when I told the chat that we were having technical difficulties, everyone was like, "I hope it's not electrical problems," and I was like, "Oh my god, that's so true."
Just be shot across the room. I'll be right there.
Yeah. Something someone else pointed out to me was that it was a good thing that Astrid didn't take Colton's job and vice versa, because then Astrid would literally be a plumber as well. It's a me, Mario.
It's a me, yeah. It was Mario Day the other day.
Already.
Fuck off.
So anyway, what proceeded to happen was a foot chase through the streets, a hearty dismembering of a ship, with minimal problems, and the knocking out of Karine on the Crazy Taxi, and a very, very intense fight with a weird religious lady who fought Nomi and was then dispatched with a sharp knife to the back of the head. And then cleared away.
So what's Nomi's kill count out now?
Again, it depends if we're talking all time or
It's a
just...
very personal question.
In the
Stop
show?
asking.
No? Okay. She killed that dude! She killed him!
Prove it.
Don't need to, I just need to say it online.
To be fair, it is recorded. We were all there and it's recorded. But
Which dude? Which dude? Who?
However, after all that happened, Astrid went back to the ship early while the captain stayed with Seren, one of his friends, and got a little bit kidnapped by some nasty criminal types. What happened? What
Just a little bit. Just a little bit kidnapped.
I love you all so much.
What happened?
Did our
What
menses just sink?
Like,
what did I miss?
me, Millie, and Peachy all at the exact same time when she got kidnapped a little bit. We all just went
Oh,
the
okay.
exact same time.
I didn't see that. Damn it. So,
Yay, my
people with the same brain.
Could someone clip that for me to see later? Because I missed that completely. Additionally, the criminals, the scum, contacted the ship to let them know that they had Astrid and that they trade her back as a bounty, as a ransom, for 150,000 credits, which is very close to what the ship has in its coffers. However, there was a little bit of back and forth about whether they should just straight up murder them or pay the ransom and then track them down later and kill them. The captain decided he didn't want to risk Astrid getting hurt, so was willing to pay. When they got there with Nomi and Karine, however, it was revealed that they were actually looking to get Karine out of the ship and into the open so that they could trade Karine for Astrid. Because Karine's father had offered 1 million credits for her to be returned alive. This obviously was not something that the crew were willing to allow, and a firefight occurred with one of the criminals being killed, the other one being knocked unconscious, and what is probably the leader who had a hold of Astrid getting knocked to the floor as Astrid escaped. Walking up to... I apologise for this bit. Safi. Walking up to the one who had a hand on her shoulder, the captain was about to execute him when Astrid stopped him, saying that he wasn't worth it. Which is very true. However, unfortunately, he had a hold-up gun in his sleeve and shot at Astrid at the same time as Colton executed him. Sorry, that's a bit unfair. As the same time as Colton reacted to him shooting at Astrid and shot him. Luckily or unluckily, the captain dived in front of Astrid and knocked both her and Karine to the ground, to begin with seeming fine, but unfortunately he'd taken a mortal wound in the back and bled out after talking to everyone a little bit, giving them his final words, letting them know that they all had equal shares now in the ship with him gone, and with one share being left over to determine who the captain is of the ship, essentially. Telling them that there's a locker or a lockbox or something under his bed, the password to which is Alicia. So, we are coming back into it with the ship and a procession of all of the crew who went out, which is everyone aside from Romy, carrying the captain back to the ship. The side of the ship opens as Romy lets you in, and what goes from a concerned and worried face very quickly turns into a much more pained grimace, and there's a certain amount of grief on there as well. As he reaches out and puts his hand on top of the captain's head. His eyes are closed, he looks peaceful. The captain, that is. And you all carry the captain into the ship. And for a while, everyone isolates slightly. As we go through the ship, we see Karine on the bridge, swiping through the console with a very vacant and off expression on her face. Feet up, leant back in her chair.
Karine's just a little bit numb, a little bit in shock.
Yeah.
The last thing she ever wanted was to get anyone on her crew hurt ever again for her.
Yeah.
And the last time this happened, or anything like it happened, she lost like everybody she cared about. So
It's easier not to dwell on that though, because she can't remember. Like, you know.
yeah.
And I mean,
She's just trying really, really, really hard to focus on anything else, to like push it away, kind of.
yeah. And I'm assuming that. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but I would imagine she's swinging between it being her fault because she's, you know, it was her name, like her.
Oh, she 100% thinks it's her fault.
Yeah.
Like, she blames herself completely. Her family, her desire to not do what they want, to live her own life. This is the second time that people she cared about have died because of that. Because she thought she could live apart from them and do her own thing, and she thought, you know, she was good at her job and she could do something else. And people have died both fucking times. She's 100% certain that it's entirely her fault.
Yeah. And it is hard for her to get away from her name. Probably the reason she hasn't really talked about it much with the rest of the crew, I'd imagine.
Yeah, Karine's very much a avoidance kind of person. Like, if whatever it is that makes her unhappy, she just runs away from it and tries to ignore it and deny it and not have anything to do with it. She can't get away from the guilt of this, but she's trying in the moment because it's just all she knows how to do.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but as she's flicking through, you know, ship manifest, articles, you know, whatever she can, would there be any temptation to look him up? Like in a news article or whatever, or maybe she just accidentally slides onto it.
Yeah.
So it's
Maybe
just an article about the CEO of the Delac Corporation. Quite a tall man, quite well built, and, you know, like, obviously he's quite old, but doesn't really show it that much. Partially because he's quite a rich man, and partially because he can afford to look good. It's got like little strands of grey in the sides of his hair, but aside from that, good head of hair. And some article about new deals and, you know, government contracts and stuff like that. Stocks going up, stocks going down.
the stupid thing is she doesn't hate him. He's her father. She can't really hate him. She just hates everything about him. How he owns the world, including her. Yeah. Everything is a thing to him, including her.
It's
another thing he owns.
It's a very him thing to go and, you know, like, put a bounty on his own daughter to get her back, not thinking of the, you know, problems it could cause or anything like that. It's like, I want this done, get it done, kind of bullshit.
Yeah. I think she'd probably sit there staring at this article, like, trying to make herself hate him.
Yeah.
And being upset that she can't. And, like, feeling more guilty.
And one other thing that I think would maybe passed through her head, like going over this stuff, is even when he thinks he's doing something for her, like the engagement, it was also to someone who was very important and would benefit him financially and in a business sense.
He just doesn't like it's not that he's trying to be malicious. This is just how he thinks. Like he doesn't even realize that he's being horrible. This is just who he is. And that makes it even more horrible.
Can I suggest, as she's like swiping through and she like lands on this and like, you know, looks at it and is kind of like, all of this stuff is going through her head. I feel like she may just kick the console off the desk and like, you know, dent it slightly.
Yeah, her legs are already up on the thing, so she just like
lift her leg up.
Slam it. Yeah.
It doesn't break, but it's dented and the screen's cracked. It's not a good day. As the camera leaves the cockpit and goes upstairs to someone a bit more, at least outwardly, serene. In her garden, Nomi is tending to these newly sprouted mint leaves, quite small still, but in a little while they'll be fully in bloom, let's say. Kind of bending down, you know, checking the temperature, checking the nitrous levels, little instruments going in, a little bit of watering.
It's all very relaxed, almost balletic, like this is practiced at this point. She knows where everything is, so she doesn't even really need to look at which tool she's reaching for.
She's 100% back on that gardener, not guns.
Yeah. I think she'll be repotting these little seedlings to give them some more room to grow, because she'd want to keep those potted so it doesn't take over the entire garden. Checking on the hanging baskets and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think when she's done that, she'll sort of look down at the little patch where the seedlings had been and take out a notepad and scribble down something. Tear the piece of paper out, fold it up a whole bunch of times, just poke it into the soil and prod it down as far as it'll go, cover it over.
I'm not going to delve into Nomi's thoughts of what has happened unless there is anything that is wanting to be vocalized.
No.
Yeah. I think of all the crew members, Karine and Astrid are probably the most readable and outwardly emotive. Nomi and Colton tend to be a bit more closed off, or harder to read, maybe. As evidenced by Colton's joke mechanism, or sarcasm mechanism, the cocking of the gun. As we shift down towards the engine room, we see someone who isn't usually in there. Colton is on the floor welding some of the grates. Just the connectors, connecting them. Some of them are a bit loose, a bit wobbly. Just making sure that they don't get any worse and firming them up. It's interesting because this is a job that usually Astrid would take on.
Available right now and it needs to be done.
Sometimes things just need to be done. And I feel like over the next couple of days, while some of the rest of the crew are dealing, Colton's probably going to be doing odd jobs like this and just maintaining things.
no matter what happens, you still need to move forward.
Yeah.
And if you let the ship fall into too much repair, it'll be too much to try and do later.
And Colton was a soldier. The number of times he's faced this exact situation where something tragic happens and you have to keep going, even considering, you can probably count on the number of lost body parts he has.
The unfortunate thing about losing someone is that it does get easier.
Yeah. As we shift away from the engine room up to a room with the word Astrid on, with the R the wrong way around. We see Astrid on her bunk, lights off, covers around her head, watching a video tablet. The message that was sent to her while she was kidnapped. It's a video message with a older gentleman, just the beginnings of grey flecking his beard and his hair, with a very jolly woman who's all smiles and happiness and sunshine, waxing lyrical about how proud and happy she is and how ecstatic she was to hear from Astrid, with a small kid, a boy, on her lap, who is fidgeting, who is restless, and who does 100% not want to be there. It's nice to see them. And we shift away. And the ship is frozen like this for a few days. With not much getting done, most of the crew, by choice or necessity, isolating themselves. There's food made for you by Romy. The cooking rota is essentially done away with for now. He doesn't join you for dinner, and my thoughts are, at most, probably Nomi and Colton eat together, if any of you also want to be there. But the food will be brought to you if you don't.
Yeah, Nomi would definitely just, it's routine. There's comfort in routine.
Yeah.
Yeah, Karine would not leave the bridge except to, like, occasionally shower.
I would imagine that Karine is probably avoiding the rest of the crew.
Yeah, she's he left the ship to all of them, but she's probably gonna offer up her spot to them to split. And if she'll see what they say, but like, she doesn't think she deserves to be here at all anymore. She thinks she's just putting them in danger. She got the captain killed. She should just go and do what her dad wants. Prevent anyone else from being hurt. She's obviously terrible living away from her family.
Can I ask a question? It always seemed from the beginning that Karine liked the ship, like enjoyed being on it, and enjoyed flying and kind of felt comfortable here. Is this the least like home this has felt to her since the start?
Yes and no. I mean, it still feels like home.
She still wants to be here.
Yeah, like, she's torn because she wants to be here, but she doesn't think she deserves to be here. She thinks she has to leave for the benefit of everybody else. And she also, like, she loves flying. She feels so good doing it, and there is an element of pride in that because she worked so hard to learn it and has been good at it for most of her life, she thinks. But you know, she fucked this up. She thinks she fucked this up, and she doesn't deserve to be here anymore.
So, we'll take a moment with dinner being Colton and Nomi at the dinner table. Obviously a lot more quiet and a lot less lively than it usually is. Do they discuss anything, or is it just essentially business as usual, not really touching on anything, and then back to work?
Yeah. But from Nomi's point of view, anyway.
Yeah.
Just same old, same old.
Gonna have to turn off the water supply for about an hour later.
Why?
We got a sticky pump in the engine room. Need to fix it or replace it. It'll take me about an hour.
Right. That's fine. I'll make sure everything's watered beforehand.
Mm-hmm. Good.
Good shot.
Good enough.
I'll just throw a possible small wrench in here. Colton, I imagine you will at some point ruminate on that gun, that possible gun that Nomi had, and the fact that it didn't kill the person, it just knocked them out.
How long has it been?
I mean, this would probably be the first night dinner, or like the dinner the day after.
I think Colton would want more information that he can work out before he'd bring it up.
Yeah, ruminate on it a bit.
Because it could have been anything, and a lot of shit has happened. It's only been a day, so.
Tell you what, give me. This doesn't mean you have to talk about it yet, but just to see, like, your knowledge of guns is decent. Roll me a gun combat with a boon. Or a tactics actually with a boon would work too.
I would much prefer tactics.
Yeah. So it's slightly different than gun combat, what I'll give you, but similar. Jesus Christ. Okay.
Man knows his guns.
Yeah, you know your guns, being in the military for a long time. You've never seen that before.
Well, most of our guns are lethal.
Yeah. Which would imply that it's a weapon of a specialist nature, and not military use. If you want a little bit more, I'll actually give it to you in a DM.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think at the moment he would bring it up.
Yeah, this is something that would cross his mind. But it's not something you have to act on.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think that would come up right now, at least, if it does.
So, as everyone deals with the situation in their own way, a couple of days later, the ship rings out with the intercom.
I think it's time for a ship meeting. Dining room, in your own time, no rush. And if you can't make it yet, I understand.
Copy.
So, first question is, who goes?
No one will go. She just doesn't respond. She never does,
Yeah.
unless somebody asks her a question.
How long ago?
Karine, Astrid?
Karine's gonna go, but she's gonna kind of like walk into the room, like
Like hug the door frame,
yes.
barely
Yeah,
in there.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, Shiruka.
When you individually get in there, there's a big... It's almost like a suitcase, except for much more square. It's like a big case. Seems to be locked. So, I thought we could all take a couple of days. We are doing okay with money, and wear and tear on the ship isn't much while we're not moving. So, there's that. I thought you'd all want to be here when I opened up. Whatever this is. I assume someone would have told him what the password was.
Yeah.
So he, there's like a big keypad, kind of console almost, and he types in Alessia, and it opens up. And inside is a journal, a USB stick, stacks of papers, a system, well, multiple system maps, and a picture. If anyone wants to jump in and look at anything, or
Picture of.
the picture is of a younger captain, Fainleth, with a actually, seeing as you asked Colton, I imagine like you picked up and looked at it.
Yeah.
It's a fairly young woman in a Vice Admiral costume. He's got like his arm around her. He's actually in a corporal Navy uniform. And they're both smiling and, quite close.
Do I recognize her?
You would, yes.
Who's she?
This is Vice Admiral Delac.
Karine recognizes her. She doesn't say anything. She's just kind of like, because she can
She's also
see how they are.
quite far away,
Yeah.
unless you want to come forward and look at stuff, but...
She might have stepped forward a little, just because she recognizes.
She recognizes the name for the password as well, I would imagine.
Yeah. I think just from even seeing the picture from afar, she could tell that they were close. And she's just kind of shocked. She doesn't say anything. She's just like, what?
Sheepy, what do I know of the Vice Admiral?
Came from money, but was very young when she was promoted to Vice Admiral. Partially off her aunt, who's in government work. Her aunt's actually Percy Delac, the one who died in the crash. From what you know, because you were part of the Navy yourself, so you'd hear rumors about important people like this. She was reasonably heavily involved in the war until the last 5 to 10 years. Probably 5 years of the war. At which point she was posted to a outpost on Talland, which is the ice planet place that you visited. As far as you know, she was a good leader, a good admiral. She mostly dealt with
Capable. She wasn't one of those.
very, very ship-to-ship combat, leading from the front types.
Yeah, and I don't feel the need to explain who she is.
Yeah.
Before done.
I would say, given that you know who she is, you would probably make the connection between Delac and Delac, because, Karine, you've mentioned your last name at this point, right? Yeah.
Oh, is she?
Yeah.
I think I would shoot a bit of a glance and see what Karine is doing.
It's probably very tense.
Yeah, she's just like still kind of by the door frame, like kind of trying to literally physically hold herself together.
Yeah.
And she just kind of looks at Colton, kind of like deer in the headlights.
I don't think it's beneficial to bring this up now, but I give you like a look as if to say, yeah, maybe I'm gonna talk to you later. But then I'd look away because if she's obviously dealing with some stuff right now.
There are also a reasonably large number of military documents. There's the journal, there's the USB, and then there's the map. If anyone wants to go through any of them.
You say military documents?
Yeah. You can see at least one of them that looks like a court-martial.
Well, I'm going through those documents.
Okay.
I've probably written some of these myself. Not the ones I'm reading, but these types of things.
I'll watch over his shoulder, but I'm not doing anything actively.
Okay.
I'm probably sorting through just your standard, document to stuff that is important. Like you said, there's the court-martial in there.
Yeah. A lot of it is highly redacted. So it's censored, and it's hard to make much out of what's on there. But in terms of the discharge papers and the court-martial, the important bit that you'll catch is Corporal Fainleth is henceforth discharged from the Inner Navy Corps as part of the agreement from his court-martial. It is to be recorded that the corporal has been cleared regarding the deaths of Vice Admiral Redacted and 50 naval personnel on the Redacted station. Let no question remain of his service and actions. He performed exemplary under extreme circumstances.
Okay, this is just peachy, but I'm assuming what is redacted is the person I just looked at in a picture.
It's perfectly fair to assume that, yes.
How did the Vice Admiral die? Do I know?
At some point, there just stopped being any, reports of her in action, or everyone, the best I can tell you is, as far as you know, she just kind of fell into obscurity because she was posted on some out-of-the-way station.
Falling into obscurity, I know that vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to be talking to Karine later.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just sort of search through.
And I imagine this will all essentially be talked about out loud.
Yeah.
So, you will all.
Is there anything else in there spicy? Like the course martial is interesting.
Yeah. There's the journal. It seems to be a journal of Corporal Fainleth.
That's not for me. A journal. That's not something I would read.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't out loud make the connection to the person in the photo and the fact that he was cleared of this, this admiral. I'd just say some admiral.
Yeah.
No, reading this journal.
For context, for Karine, the last you heard anything of Alessia was about 10 years ago. I think we've been over this a little bit before, but just to refresh your memory.
Yeah. Yeah, she looks really deep in thought.
And
because she's...
Yeah, for the record, the court-martial and discharge papers are 9.5 years ago, kind of thing. So, congruent. There is also the navigational charts, which chart a path out to Zenith, which is the furthest planet in all of the systems, away from the center core of Inner, and then goes past Zenith to a spot in empty space. As just like,
Oh, that's encroacher. Okay.
yeah, it's an encroacher.
That is like the complete opposite of Talon, isn't it? She obviously has some history with somehow. Interesting.
And there's like an X, you know, the equivalent on a navigational chart, equivalent of like X marks the spot, like this is where it is. It just has the tag Project Apex.
Anyone know anything about this?
She went missing 10 years ago.
Oh.
Oh.
Alessia. She's my cousin.
Mm-hmm.
She was decorated. She was kind of amazing. I didn't know she knew the captain. But she's been gone a long time. Her mom, who is now gone, put me in touch with the captain when I was trying to find a place to go.
More reports she was a good vice admiral.
Yeah. We never knew what happened to her.
Question. Anyone going anywhere near the journal, you don't have to. And it would be very understandable if no one did.
The journal is definitely not something that Colton would read, and he probably pushed it away from him and like, hey, I'm looking at these papers, and definitely not this journal.
Karine, I think, would do this like weird half step forward where she wants to, but she just doesn't think she deserves any of it, anything. And she's like worried she's gonna care about him even more.
Yeah.
So she kind of steps back.
Can I read that she was like stepping towards specifically the journal?
If you asked about it, like if you brought up the journal, she would have stepped forward and back like right when you said that. So.
Okay.
I think
well, I'm gonna hand it to her. Fuck it.
Yeah. And Romy will actually look at you and say, "It's all right to read it. I know a little bit about what's in it."
He gave you the code.
Gave all of us the code. I don't even deserve to be here.
That's not true.
I mean,
That doesn't make any
I
sense.
wasn't here, none of this would have happened.
you didn't do this.
We both know who you were when you joined the crew. The captain actually gave you the job because of who you are. Well, because your aunt asked him to.
Gonna be honest, I don't care who you were.
It just put you all in danger. He's not gonna stop.
Let's not worry about that for now. Take a look.
She's gonna open it.
Okay. Feel free to say whether you read certain parts aloud or whatnot, but I'll go through essentially the important keynotes of what's in the journal as you go through it. And I imagine everyone else is just, like either sitting around and listening or going through the navigational notes and etc.
Yeah, I would read it out to everyone. I don't think it's mine,
Yeah.
I want to know what's in it because I want to understand, but I really appreciate what Colton said, what everyone has said.
Yeah.
but I still feel like I don't deserve to be here, and this is theirs as much as it's mine, so I'm just gonna read it out.
Okay. So, in the journal, the beginning goes over him leaving his life of breaking and entering, petty theft, just general, like, gutter rat activities. You know, not a thug, but just, like, stealing shit to survive, until his brother had a kid. At which point he realized that if he was arrested, he'd end up in jail and not be able to provide for the family anymore. So while he was out one night, he saw a recruitment poster for the Inner Navy Marines and decided that he'd sign up. He failed the officer exam, and was, to be honest, expecting not to become an officer anyway. Ended up becoming a recruit and fighting in multiple ship-to-ship battles over his first 5 years or so. At which point, he was singled out for his heroism and ability to fight in tight corridors and ship-to-ship, something he attributes to street fights on, in tight alleyways and running away from people, that type of thing, when he was a kid. Was promoted to corporal and led fire teams for maybe another 2-3 years, until by special order of Vice Admiral Delac, he was reassigned to a secret project called Project Apex at a unmarked and off-the-record station out by Zenith. In his memoirs, he talks about finally getting to live with his fiancée before they get married.
I think as I read that part, I'd probably significantly stumble.
Yeah. There is some, like, quite vitriolic notes about the Delac family and how they don't like it, aside from the aunt, Alessia's mum, who was perfectly fine with it. But the rest of the Delac family, not super happy about it. So they were planning on essentially, like, leaving the family behind and getting married and settling down somewhere.
In case you were wondering, my family are assholes. Except for Chrissy and Alessia, obviously.
There's a lot of vague talk about volunteers and the extreme training they have to go through. A lot of them flunking out, a lot of them failing, a lot of them just giving up. Going from about 2,000 to down to about 100 or so. It also makes reference to the construction of a world ship. Don't know what that is, but the references are there.
I think when I read that part, I would look up at Colton and be like, I don't know what this is.
A world ship, Sheepy?
No idea.
Never heard that reference before.
I would continue.
Maybe just a big ship.
The clue seems to be brother in the name.
Oh, maybe like a space station. Habitable.
It did start with a lot of people. They only had 100 left to actually crew it. I keep reading.
Multiple failures and setbacks in training and too many people not passing the tests means there are delays, there are frustrations, and the crew who are ready and who are prepared and pass the training get more and more frustrated and start skipping work and not turning up. Until the ship explodes. And that's literally all it says. World ship destroyed, exploded. There's like sabotage question mark, failure, like mechanical failure question mark. Like there's no, as far as you can tell, there's no actual solid answer that's given for what happened to it. After that, drinking and illegal substances are found more and more often and confiscated. And the first bodies start turning up. People dead in their bunks. No sign of violence or any like reason for death. As time goes on, more and more people start either turning up dead or getting aggressive, panicking, refusing to obey orders, and chaos breaks out on the ship. To the point where one day the captain can't get out of his bunk because he's been locked in there by Alicia. And there is a lot of scribbling that gets more and more erratic and confused and doesn't make sense. A lot of references to being alone, a lot of references to the dark and to the feeling. Don't know what that is. And eventually it stops when he just stops writing, I guess. The final paragraph is maybe like a month after this, where he makes reference to the Navy turning up at the station and essentially rescuing him. When he's let out, everyone is dead, including Alicia. And he faces a court-martial in about a week for the murder and killing of 50 servicemen and a Vice Admiral, Alicia Delac. And that's where the journal stops.
Location-wise, were you saying that this was Tal End?
That was where... So, that was originally where the everyone in the Navy thought that Vice Admiral Delac was posted.
Right.
However, going by the notes, the reference to Project Apex and also the location of Project Apex, it's actually in deep dark space outside of all systems at a random point. That's where it's marked, at least on the navigational maps.
GP, in those documents, was there any reference to Project Apex?
Yeah, it talked about Project Apex being construction beginning. There's enough there for you to make connection to the world ship.
I'm gonna start sorting those out and pulling out all the stuff that references and just reading it through.
Okay.
Is where it was located anywhere near, like, where? No.
No, not exactly. I mean, it's in the same area, but it's not anywhere near where... I'll say this. It's not anywhere near where you were found.
The way he's... Oh, sorry.
No, I think Karine would just be like, I can't believe they blamed him.
A survivor. Any person they can ask. He was cleared. Got a lot of reference in these documents to Project Apex.
The hell were they doing?
Yeah, in the documents, can I tell if it was if they were building a space station? Is there enough to pull out of that info?
It says world ship.
All references to world ship, and there's no reference directly to what?
References to the world ship and to Project Apex. And it's interchangeable often.
Yeah, but it doesn't say anything about what the world ship or Apex was.
It would be very likely, and you'd know this being in the military, that they were allowed to write their own like journals and things like that if they wanted. They weren't allowed to talk about like specifics, you know.
No, I mean in the military documents.
Oh, in the documents, sorry. Yeah, everything's redacted. So it's like project redacted, you know, construction of redacted, etc., etc. Like it doesn't really. There's nothing.
It doesn't say it's a ship, a planet, a space station.
Words that will stand out to you: trip, journey, training. Multiple references to all of them around Project Apex and the world ship.
Okay, I can't really tell what this world ship Apex is, but it moves. Requires a lot of training. Maybe some sort of deep space habitat.
As a sidebar, just in case you don't have the chat up, Nomi, I sent you a message.
Thank you.
No problem.
This is all redacted. This is top, most secret.
Vice Admiral Delac was a very influential person in the Navy.
She was good too.
Yeah. They never really thought that people would buy the whole outpost information that they put out there, but I guess there's no reason to disbelieve it either.
Basically just told us she was gone. They didn't give us any details.
Military secrets are kind of like that. They'll give you a plausible story. Hope you forget about it.
The pages that talks about the after he'd been locked in his bunk. Does the description there kind of echo what we saw in that guy on Talend?
What his like rambling and his
That like blocked out demeanor and the descriptions we found there.
I would say at least a little bit. He seems to be very listless. The difference is there's definitely still emotion in what he's writing. He's very distraught, he's very upset, and he's very like he spent multiple days like trying to get out of that room. Whereas that guy was a lot more just
Going through the motions.
yeah.
He must have really loved her. Deserved better.
Cheapy, where did the captain want his body taken?
There.
Of course.
Well, technically he said where she was. Like, bury me with her. Out in space. Also, just additional context to reminder. One of the things he said was he's been wishing he was dead for 10 years.
I think Karine would put the journal down on the table where they eat, and just say, "I'll be on the bridge. If if you all decide you want to go there, just let me know. And she's just gonna walk out.
All right, Karine.
Sheepy, because I've been doing our jobs in the engine room. Do I know how much fuel we have?
Yeah, you would. There's still quite a lot in the in the banks. Let's have a little look here.
Is there like plenty to get? Because where are we now? We started moving between Encroacher, right, towards Inner.
You're in Inner now.
We are in Inner.
Yeah, you're in a station orbiting Eltian currently.
Well, right.
Yeah.
Do I, without having to
you're...
figure it out, do I think we've got enough fuel to get to Zenith?
It's hard to know, really. That would be something between the navigator and, pilot and the engineer. But you can ask Astrid. She'd have more of an idea.
How's Astrid looking? Because I assume she's been taking this quite hard.
How's Astrid doing?
Very vacant.
Could I suggest a slight thing, which is I kind of see Astrid on a chair, knees to her nose, like kind of arms around her legs, like curled up, just like listening to everything in like a vacant off stare. So take from that what you can. Give it a second.
That's a really vacant off stare. She just gone.
Oh no, did Zoom fuck up?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't.
We're all squiggly now.
Wait. Let's wait. How about a quick break, Sheepy?
Yeah, let's take
That's
a
a good
very
idea.
quick break.
We'll be right back.
Be right back.
Technical issues.
So, for the sake of going forward, for now, Astrid gets up wordlessly, like she can't do this anymore, and goes back to her room and to her bunk.
I need to check with Karine to see if we can make it there without buying fuel. We have a bunch, but I don't know without the math.
Does Colton get up and...
I'm waiting for a reaction from Romy. At the moment, I'm like, Romy was second in command, so this is where my questions would relate to.
I think we will have to talk soon about the ownership of the ship and everything like that, but for now I think, we all learned a lot, and I already knew some of it, but
Everyone used to be somebody.
yeah. Well, go and have a word with Karine. Make sure she's okay as well.
I think Colton, does some math in his head and go, me? Okay, but it doesn't show. Yep.
It would probably cross your mind that the captain wouldn't ask him to do that. The captain would probably go and do that himself.
But, second in command when the captain was here, so that's technically in order. So I will go and make sure Karine's okay.
As you walk off, Romy and Nomi, I hate it when they have scenes together because I have to say that, left essentially at either sides of the table.
Nomi would pick up all the things that were in that case and put them back in exactly the same way as they were in when they first opened it and shut it back up.
Are you doing all right, Nomi?
Yes. I think we have supplies for quite a while.
Good. And you don't have you don't need anything?
Not for now. I may stop somewhere to pick up new seeds and see what they have, but I've designed the garden to be self-sustaining, so I can get most of what we need from our harvest.
It's good. And he kind of is playing with a napkin on the table in an awkward way. He's like, you don't have any interest in stepping up to be the next captain of the ship, do you?
No.
Okay.
Why?
Just curious. It's something we're gonna have to discuss as a crew eventually, isn't it? So thought I'd
Right.
see where you stand.
No. My task is the garden, and when I'm distracted from that, things die.
I kind of wish someone else had stayed behind on the ship to look after it. Not me.
Why?
Because then I would have been there.
Oh. We were fine. It was compassion that killed him, not lack of firearms.
I don't know. Maybe you've never been in the situation before, but you always find yourself questioning the decisions you make after something like this happens. When people die or you let someone down. You know, what if I had been there, or what if they hadn't have turned up, or...
That's good, though, for planning the next time. Next time, we don't show mercy. We eliminate the threat.
Maybe. Do you not have anything you regret? A choice you made? Something you did?
No. You can't regret. You act on the information you have. Going backwards is impossible.
That's true. So if you had the ability, I don't know, let's say you can travel in time, there's nothing that you'd do differently?
No.
Well, that's good.
The mistakes make you, I think. Astrid learned something that will change her. All of us learned something that will change us. We're different now. If you change the event, you change you.
That's very true. I don't know. I still think there's things I'd go back and change.
You don't like yourself.
Not always.
Maybe next time you will make different decisions then.
I hope there won't be a next time like the decisions that I've had to make in the past. I think for now I'm gonna get another drink and I'm gonna go to bed.
As you wish.
And he gets up, goes to the counter, and you actually see like a slight sway. Goes into the fridge, grabs a drink, heads towards his bunk, closes the door.
Nomi will just clean up the kitchen, take the case, go and put it under the captain's, but like back where it was, because that's where it goes.
Yeah.
And go back to the garden.
As you go into the captain's room and you open the door, there's like a flash of light as the light turns on. And I'm going to give you a moment again. It's a moment from a while back. In a very, very opulent room with, you know, fancy upholstery, you know, all gold and red and purple, very rich. And the same flash of light as rain is coming down outside, and the essentially veranda doors are like flung open with a dark, drenched, shadowy figure in the doorway. And it's just a flash of memory.
You can see her kind of just shrug her neck slightly, shaking that off.
It happens sometimes.
Then she'll kneel down, slide the case under the bed, stand up, spin on her heel, walk out.
And we go to Karine in the bridge. I mean, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but you essentially went straight back to what you were doing.
Yeah.
Not much, but
Karine's just sitting there still in shock. She really feels like she just feels like it's all her fault.
yeah.
You know, her cousin, she didn't even know what happened to her. Whatever happened to her hurt the captain. And like she doesn't know anything, but she just assumes it somehow had something to do with her stupid family.
Yeah.
And so she's just like, okay, I have to get the captain where he wanted to go. I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna leave them to be safe. And then she's just, and like she hates that thought because she obviously doesn't want to leave. She loves them. She loves it here.
Yeah.
but she feels like it's what's best for them, so she's just trying not to think about it.
As Colton is walking in to see Karine, Karine, there's a news wave that pops up on your notifications. Just news from around the system. It comes right by every now and then. You
What is
wanna
it?
pull it up and play it?
Yeah.
Okay. So, this is the news.
To everyone in the system, whatever the time is, wherever you are, greetings from the Inner All World News Network. Here are the latest stories from across the system. Despite the talks still being in progress between the inner government and elements of the EAP, naval forces have occupied the independent terra firma station amid rumours that pirates operating out of the station have been responsible for targeted strikes on EAP shipping. This move has caused both inner and initiative governmental representatives to condemn the move, as no concord has been reached yet in the talks. Tensions are escalating between the three governments, but experts state there is no cause for concern yet so soon after cessation of hostilities. What seemed to be a small disturbance has escalated on the initiative world of Prioris, with more sections of the world being cordoned off and Marines being sent in to restore order. A representative from the initiative government stated that these disturbances are reprisals from small cadres of terrorists after the alleged massacre in a hospital a few months ago in the original cordoned area. No groups have claimed responsibility at this time. Finally, Kimber Holt, scion and heir to Holt Banking and Holdings, has been found dead after a lengthy search. No details have been released as of yet, but an anonymous contact stated that foul play is not suspected. The family asked for privacy while they mourn. A private funeral will be held soon. That's all the major news from around the system. Keep your consoles primed for more news as it develops. And from all of us here at the Inner All World News Network, keep your heads high.
I hear that as I'm walking in.
Yeah.
Oh, the CEO.
Scion is kind of like a heir to the throne, essentially.
Oh, okay.
Is
it
Karine
well known
alright?
that he was missing?
Is Karine a little like slack-jaw stunned?
Yeah. She doesn't even know what to say. She's just kind of sitting there like in shock.
I mean, you spoke to him like, well, you got a message from him like a few months back.
What the hell happened?
Oh. I'm in the air. Didn't even know he was missing.
Neither did I. He was... I don't understand. I just got a message from him.
What?
I mean, it was a little while ago, but it wasn't that long ago. Wait, so did I get the message before or after this supposedly happened?
Before.
Before.
So, he was found last week, and the message you got was like a couple months ago. And that was the message telling you about the death of your aunt and him looking into it a little bit, etc.
He was looking into my aunt's death, and when I say that as Karine, I'm looking at Bolton like, what if he found something?
Wait a minute. You're in personal contact with the heir to One of the most powerful seats of power in.
He was my fiance. My dad set it up. He was a good person, but I didn't want to marry him. I didn't want to have that life. So I left.
What? Wait a minute. Just give me a second. Okay, I just needed to process that information. You were engaged to be married with the essentially heir to the throne.
Yeah.
It's head of a corporation. Yeah.
I feel like that phrase works.
Okay, that's fine. I just didn't want confusion as to he was actually like a prince or something,
No.
like royalty.
Just financially.
Yeah.
So, my dad, I mean, I grew up around these people, and Kimber, he wasn't entirely like the rest of them, but he was still a corp guy. He was still what he was. He was kind, though.
My parents farm cows.
You're better off. Your parents don't get people killed. You must have found something. I thought Percy's death was suspicious. It made no sense. She was a government official. Their ships get super looked over every single flight, every single moment. It didn't make sense. You must have found something.
So Colton's doing that thing where he's trying to listen, but also you can tell in his face he's trying to process an enormous amount of information he was just given in the space of a couple of sentences.
Yeah, I mean, they aren't the biggest corporation, but we're still talking billions of credits. Maybe more.
So, Delac. Same Delac.
Yeah.
Do you want to pull up the article?
Sure.
Just flips on the console and pulls up this article. It's I don't have the name to hand. There we are. Tevian Delac. Very corporate, very imposing. Got like little silver bits at the side of his hair. You've probably seen him multiple times. He's the CEO of the Delac Corporation. Shipbuilding, stations. One of the older corporations and family-run giant businesses. In kind of comparison, think the Waynes in Bruce Wayne, Batman. That's the type of like old family money we're talking here.
He's just another rich corporation asshole. He's my dad, and I love him, but he's insane. He just thinks he owns everything. He thinks he owns the world. Yeah. And I'm just another part of that. He basically gave me to Kimber.
Right. Arranged. Your dad's the same person that hired those goons that grabbed Astrid.
Got the captain killed.
Yeah. Your dad got the captain killed.
I got the captain killed.
Did you pull the trigger?
No, but I knew
You
he
hire
would come after
goons.
me. I knew he would come after me. Every single time I have tried to be anything other than what he wants, it's ended in disaster. He should just give in and do what he wants.
On slams his gun down on the counter. Like,
Might startle you, yeah.
Yeah, she's like,
okay, first of all, everything you just said is absolute bullshit. You are you. What people do is what they do. There are always assholes, and they will fuck up the universe. As long as you're not the asshole that fucks up the universe, not your fucking fault. You're not the only person to have people chase them across space. You're not the only person who has had people ruin others' lives to get to you. That is not your fault.
if I wasn't here, it never would have happened.
But you are here. You're you. You're not responsible. You're responsible for you and your crew. Anyone you love. You're not responsible for the things that happen to them just because you exist. You have a right to exist. How you want. Who you are. People will always try and fuck that up. And that's on them.
For a second, I'm just going to say that because of the good speech that Colton just gave, something's going to flash in Karine's mind. It's not from that long ago. It's essentially the captain's parting words to her. Don't go backwards, go forwards.
I don't know what I did to deserve such people that believe in me. I'll try to do them the honor they deserve. Do you the honor you deserve.
I don't deserve nothing, I'm just telling you the truth.
I think Karine would just kind of like, is he standing next to her?
Yeah, I'm really close. Like, I slammed my gun down right next to you because I'm annoyed that you're being mean to yourself, and that's probably coming out a little bit aggressive.
I think
Colton.
Karine would, she like doesn't know how to say what she wants to say, so she just puts a hand on his arm. And then you'll kind of see her like stiffen for a second. And then just like sit there quietly crying, but grateful that she has people that care about her that much. And just grateful for his support.
And if I can add a little something extra, I think Colton, as you like look around, as she's kind of like, I feel like a little bit awkwardly maybe, because Colton's not good with this type of shit, as far as I know.
And that's why he just launched into a tirade instead of comforting someone who needed it.
I think you'll see multiple empty cups, and Karine, you'll feel like the weight of the last couple of days. You have not slept much at all, and the outpouring of the mix of support and just essentially breaking the floodgates of emotions that has been little bit bottled up. I think the camera fades out on Karine just finally actually sleeping. And just kind of like nodding off in the chair. Kind of like curled up on herself.
I think Colton sees this and pulls up a chair and then just tries to figure out how to do the math himself.
Like
He's just gonna leave her there.
he's sitting nearby. She's just like curled up and like eyes closed, maybe
He's doing that thing where like his arm is there, but he's trying to grab the chair and just like, okay, get something done.
If as he does that, he might, if he like looks through the ship's menu, he'll notice she already did everything. Like she already programmed it in. If they need to make a stop, she programmed that in. It's all there.
You got enough
It'll
fuel
show up.
to get there and back. You may need to make a stop in the encroacher system somewhere to refuel.
Mm-hmm.
But it's doable, especially with the like the main problem will be food, but in general. But that's not a problem now that Nomi's got the garden set up and running. It's not 100% self-sufficient. If you get lost in space for 100 years, you will starve at some point. But it'll last for a good long while.
I mean, she's done everything, so Colin has a long list of things that need to be done.
Yeah.
But I think we are currently in dock, not moving.
You're on the planet still in the ruins. You haven't moved from there yet.
Oh, we're landed, right? Yeah. We're not, right? Yeah. Yeah, I think Colton sort of thinks I could probably go and weld those pipes, but sort of like looks that Karina's just like PTFO'd with her hand on his arm, and I think he's just gonna stay there and just wait.
Yeah.
Maybe just dismantle his gun.
Okay. One-handed.
Oh yeah.
Eventually,
Absolutely.
she'll like kind of like roll over in her chair and just kind of like do that.
Yeah. You'll be free at some point. But
When I think he's just gonna chill there for a bit.
that's fair.
Nothing needs to be done right now.
Okay. And we'll move on to the next day. Wake up. Colton, at some point you moved on, you went to your bunk, you got some sleep. Same for you, Nomi. I have a question for you, Nomi. When you get those flashes, is it water off a duck's back, and essentially there's no echo or remnant of that memory that kind of like... I'm not sure the right way to describe it. It doesn't really bubble to the surface. It just comes out of nowhere like a ghost.
Yeah, it's like a flash of something, like lightning hitting.
Yeah.
But the second it's gone, it's gone.
Yeah, okay.
It has to be.
So there's no remnants or anything like hanging
No.
over you. You just...
I think it's more the things that would be hanging over her would be things like keeping herself in good physical condition.
Yeah.
Because the fight in the alleyway was no challenge. That last one was a challenge, and she
You've been
both
sharp.
liked and didn't like that.
You've been sharper than this, definitely.
Yeah. So I think she'd be, while keeping the garden up and running, there'd be a lot of, stretching and using the overhead rings that have been put in for hanging baskets off. She's just going to be doing a shit ton of pull-ups.
Maybe some time in the armory with the punching bag and the there's like a nice open
I don't
space
think
there.
she's been introduced to that yet.
Okay.
So she wouldn't. It'd be more like a Tai Chi kind of thing in the garden where it's all the combat movements, but it's precision.
Yeah.
You've probably seen Colton just hitting it.
You would have seen Colt, but
he hasn't shown her how to do that yet.
And it's very disrespectful to train with someone else's training partner. I got you with that one, huh?
No comment.
So, eventually, Romy comes into the cockpit. A little bit blinky and a little bit kind of like still shaking sleep out of him, and says, Karine, for now I think we'll just keep going. If you can take us back to the station, we'll set down and we'll stay there for a little bit before I think probably we're going to head out to that spot, at least for the captain. We'll have a proper talk about it, but for now, back to the station.
Okay. Thanks, Romy.
You doing alright?
I don't think I really remember what that's like anymore.
Yeah.
But as alright as I can be.
Do you need to talk?
No, Colton set me straight.
Colton talked to you. God, are you alright?
Yeah. No, he actually said exactly what I needed to hear.
Really? Well, that's okay. Good.
Okay, I will get us there. I do want to make sure that everyone here is okay with me staying here. And if I'm honest, I really want to find out what the hell happened with Kimber.
Kimber. Your fiancé?
Yeah.
What happened to him?
I don't know. I think something really bad, but I think he must have found out something he wasn't supposed to know. He was looking into my aunt's death. But look, I do not want to put anyone else on this ship in danger. And if I try to find that out, that's exactly what I'll be doing. If I stay, my dad's not going to stop. So I want it to be a decision everyone gets to make. Colton made me see that I shouldn't just go back, but I can't go forward if everyone doesn't agree.
Well,
this is everyone's ship now.
I know for myself, I wouldn't want anyone else piloting the ship. And as already said, both me and the captain were aware of the deal when we had you on. And the dangers, such that they are. I have to head out once we get up to the station for a few days. I have contacts. I'll ask them to look in to what's going on with your ex-fiance's death. It may be nothing, but it's a little something for now. And we can discuss the rest soon.
Just please be careful.
I will.
He had all the money and all the power that he could have possibly needed to protect himself, and he still wound up dead.
But from what I know, he's a nice guy. I'm a bit of a bastard.
She's just gonna like laugh, cry, basically. Thank you.
Besides, you don't get to be a detective for very long if you don't learn to fight a little bit dirty.
Wait, detective?
I worked for the inner police force.
Oh. Wow.
Long time ago now.
Wow. Okay. Thank you.
Just doing my job. And he kind of stands there awkwardly for a couple of seconds, spins around, walks out, heads back towards the rear of the ship, pokes his head into the armory where I am going to guess Colton is, and says, "Are you on drugs?"
Prenzial.
Nothing like personality altering or...
What?
No? Okay. No, I just wanted to check. Good work with Karine.
What? Oh, right. Okay.
Okay. And as he walks off, he's like, "We're heading back up to the station. Gonna stay there for a couple of days."
Okay.
Sorry, my radio.
There's the robot assassin.
It was Colton all along.
Man.
Sorry, I got a few things I need to take care of. I think we have a leak. Can you take it easy, Karine?
Yep. No problem. Well, we'll go up nice and slow. Thanks, Colton.
Okay.
And the ship flies up to the station. Lands there in a similar docking place than it did before. And the next few days pass. Romy leaves the ship. He's going to go and see what he can do about acquiring jobs and speaking to a few contacts. And you all essentially get prepared for a long haul trip. Unfortunately, it's not a paid one, but from what you can see, I don't know if any of you look at the ship finances or anything. But for anyone who, does look or is interested, Colton probably would. You'll still have a decent chunk of credits left over after the trip, enough to get more jobs and build up the fund a little bit. So you're not going to be in dire straits just because you take this trip.
I think I go and see Romy.
Okay. Oh well, Romy's left, but
Oh, that was him leaving.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Essentially,
Right.
when you went up to the station, he's gone off to talk to a few contacts, maybe get try and line up some jobs from the contacts he has. But when he gets back a few days later, so if anyone has any conversations they want to have, getting the vibe that everyone's kind of in a holding pattern for now, but
I'm making a list.
okay.
Are you checking it twice?
I'm multiple times and crossing things out and adding different things and slight alterations to the list. And then I'm gonna eventually bring that list up to Romy whenever that happens.
Okay.
Karine is at some point, especially towards the second half of their trip, going to go to the garden and help Nomi, but she's literally not going to say a word. She's just going to walk in, do whatever, help help Nomi and not talk, and then go back to the bridge.
If I can, add a little bit there, I feel like this has become a more common occurrence. I don't know how Nomi feels about it, and maybe we don't need to know, but
She definitely doesn't show any sign that there's an issue with it, as
Yeah.
long as it's quiet and there isn't a huge amount of discussion.
yeah. Oh, there's no talking ever.
It's just,
it's just-
Karine doesn't
Yeah.
say anything.
in that case, she's improving efficiency and she enjoys that.
Yeah.
It's like Karine's Zen moment every now and then.
And just to color it slightly, apologies for this, but I feel it's maybe Karine trying to make up for what she sees as her own deficiencies.
Yeah. So before Colton talked to her, she was fully planning on leaving.
Yeah.
And not even giving them the choice, which was super fucked up. So him talking to her made her see she was kind of being an idiot. She still wants to make sure they're all okay with her staying.
Yeah.
But she wants to continue to contribute. And she knows that like not talking and helping Nomi helps somehow. She like knows that. So that's what she does. She's just gonna keep trying to do the absolute best job she can to be worthy of at least Colton and Romy wanting to keep her and
Trust and loyalty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. After a few days pass, Romy comes back on board. There's a list, I believe, that Colton wants to give him.
Yeah. Captain, I got a list.
Okay.
We're gonna need to shore this ship up. Considering what happened, maybe we should prepare a little better.
I think that's fair. Depending on what you're talking about.
Okay, I want to install motion sensors and heat-activated cameras in every main cross-section of the ship. We need armaments. We need to back up the armor. We can probably do that with welding. Extra pieces of plating, especially on the front and rear section. And we need a gun.
A ship gun.
Ship gun.
Agreed, but not until we get back and have some jobs lined up so we can cover the costs, because that's going to be expensive.
I can maybe help.
I don't want the crew using their own money if we can avoid it.
Well, if you think about it, I'm just buying myself a new gun.
That's true. I keep forgetting.
My gun, though. I get to name it.
Right, yeah. Okay. Well, I'm actually gonna call a crew meeting. So, 5, dining room.
Yup.
Okay. And also, over the intercom of the ship.
Crew meeting in 5. Dining room, kitchen. Also,
Karine's just
I'm
gonna-
back.
Karine's just gonna show up.
Yeah.
Well, you're back. I've just been having a conversation with you. Oh, the crew. Yeah.
So, you walk in and eventually settle down. Once everyone's there, he looks around and says, "So, we still need to figure out who gets that extra percentage share to designate ship captain."
Before we do that, I just want to make sure Nomi and Astrid are okay with me staying, because I want to stay. But they didn't know, and this is everyone's decision now. And it really means a lot that Colton and Romy are good with it. I want to make sure you guys are good with it too, because he's not going to stop. So, if you are not okay with it, tell me and I will move forward in some other way. Because you should have the choice.
Well, I believe myself and Colton have made our feelings clear on that. Astrid will come around soon, and we'll talk to her then. Nomi?
It's fine.
There you
We
go.
need a pilot.
I mean, if we're putting cards on the table, I've got an admiral or admiral's son, and a lot of top-tier press that want me dead. Anyone else?
Actually, yes.
Okay. Who wants to kill you?
Possibly no one anymore, but it's hard to say for sure. So, something that is worth considering before we talk about captaincy and everything like that. I used to be a detective in a police force, security, everything like that. And the main job I had was hunting what essentially you could consider roaming serial killers. Planet to planet, sometimes they'd leave the inner system, and I'd have to chase them down in Encroacher or any of the other systems. And I was reasonably good at it until I met the Angel's Smile. Well, I never met her, but I chased her. We never did figure out how many people she killed. The victims had nothing in common. They were always posed peacefully and with a smile on their face. And a choice I made led to my entire team dying. And he looks around a little bit defiantly. You know, kind of in a, like, dare I said it, like, way.
Yeah, great. Know me. Anyone trying to kill you?
No.
Cool. We're
She
good.
looks around the room like real fucking confused.
I think I look to Karine then as if to go, yeah, big whoop. Want to fight about it.
I think Karine just looks at them and is kind of like, she like feels like she's not so alone. This is so awful, but at the same time she's like, okay, I'm not the only one.
And
yeah.
after that, he looks around again and says, and after that I spent 4 years in jail.
Only 4.
Well, 6 maybe.
Why?
My reputation never really recovered after my team was killed, and I was put in a desk job, and I wasn't allowed out. So I spent my time going over reports, trying to help however I could, buy my way back into some street work maybe, anything except for riding a desk.
Brave.
And I came across some irregularities that I reported to my boss, the chief. And then maybe a week later, my house was raided and they found all the missing guns and drugs in my house. And I was put in jail, convicted, 8 years, out in 6.
So they set you up? Those
They're your
assholes.
guns and drugs.
No.
Yeah.
What did you find?
I don't know.
How can you not know?
Small irregularities, a missed report, a mistake in accounting or storage, evidence, little bits here and there. Nothing to overreact about.
Yeah.
Damn it, you deserve better.
I think
So do you, Colton.
one of the things we all have in common on this ship is that we all deserved better.
Colton rubs his eye socket a bit, like it itches or something.
Nomi continues to look real fucking confused.
Yeah.
Don't you know me? Someone will try and kill you soon.
It's almost a guarantee at this point.
Oh,
Well, I definitely bring danger to this crew, but never ever gonna let you guys down in terms of anything I can change myself. I'm gonna be the best fucking pilot ever for you all.
Actually, the best pilot on this ship.
One other thing. In this vein, I think whoever ends up being captain or in charge or however we end up doing it in the end, I think it might be worth bringing on a couple more crew in time. A medic, definitely. And maybe some more muscle. It's worth a thought.
I think I speak for everyone when I just assume second command's just gonna take control.
Being in charge hasn't always ended up the best for me, or the people around me.
Sorry, yeah. I feel that.
but that's good. That means you can get it right.
This ship is a second chance for a lot of us.
I don't know about anyone else, but I'm like on my 7th or 8th chance.
Like,
Yeah, same.
4th, maybe.
Yeah.
If I didn't like the name of the ship so much, I'd suggest we call it Another Chance.
Karine laughs and she's still kind of at that like emotional edge where every time she laughs she's crying a little bit, every time she cries she's laughing a little bit.
So that's all of that out the way. I think very soon we'll have a chat about it. We'll decide, and then we'll go off and see the captain off. Karine, I don't know if you want to... I guess you can't really go to the funeral. Sorry, your... Kimber's funeral.
Yeah,
But you knew that she...
I met his aunt once. I met her aunt once. And the captain filled me in on a lot of why she was joining and
Okay, I guess I was the last to know. That's fine.
No, I thought it was just the captain, but I guess it was the captain and Romy.
At the
Sorry.
time, we were the only 2 crew members, so. And
I don't think
Naomi,
it's...
did you know who she's gonna marry? Sorry.
No.
I mean, I wasn't. I left. But he was a friend. He was a friend. And I would go if it was safe, but it's not. I think... Honestly, I think he's gone because of me too. I don't want to drag you all into this. I don't even know what this is. But something
Well.
happened. He was looking into my aunt's death. Did you find something out, Romy?
I put some feelers out. Probably hear back by the time we get back from our trip.
This is another thing. I definitely don't want to make any decisions anymore without all of you knowing as much as I can tell you. It's not my decision, it's yours. So I do want to really know what happened to Kimber. I didn't want to marry him. I didn't love him like that, but he was a good person and he deserved better. And I think he looked into it because of me. Something is going on. I don't know what it is. I don't know if there's anything we can even do about it, even if we find out, but if we don't look into it, I don't think anyone else will. But it's up to you guys.
From what I could gather, the police are treating it as accidental death and won't be investigating further in terms of foul play. If you suspect that's what it is, then you're right. It's unlikely it'll be looked into that deeply.
What will knowing change?
I mean, if that has something to do with whoever's chasing Karine, we could put a stop to it.
I don't think it does. I mean, my dad just wants to marry me off for financial gain. And because he can't let things go, he really thinks he owns the world.
You have been married?
No.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's not the life I want. I don't want to put other people in danger to get out of it, but I'm a good pilot. I'm a better pilot than I would ever be a corporate wife.
So you're essentially a runaway bride, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fly away.
Okay. It was more of a metaphor.
Yeah, it's okay. So,
Sorry, I'm a little...
sorry. The other thing, the other reason I went out, aside from hopefully to line us up some jobs when we get back, got a few feelers out. Nothing fancy, but might be able to move some cargo. We'll see. I found out who the group is who tried to take you and who took Astrid.
On.
They're a group of mercenaries, essentially. They hang out on a dive bar called No Hold. It's on the Delac station, orbiting over Simalis. Mostly run down, kind of inoperational for the most part. Parts of the station are used as storage, warehouse. A lot of it is either inoperational or just completely abandoned. So a lot of less upstanding citizens use it, the abandoned areas at least. So there's some ramshackle domiciles, a few bars, a few, mini market little places where people sell stolen stuff.
So what you're saying is they're not well funded.
I mean, they own the bar. They operate out of it. Most of them are ex-military. It's kind of a tight operation, but they're not big shots either.
Not the ones they sent to the planet. I have a suggestion.
Yeah.
Why don't we kill every single last one of them?
I don't think it'll stop him. It could send a message to others.
It'd send a message at the very least. I hadn't settled on killing all of them, but I was thinking we should pay them a visit at the very least.
Yes.
An example.
Let's talk.
Alright. Well, for now, Karine, take us to Somalis.
Karine's gonna head back to the bridge.
And ship takes off, starts heading towards Somalis.
Only can I have a word?
Okay.
Yes.
Private.
She'll
So-
follow him to wherever he wants to go.
Yeah.
I guess we'd just go to...
Armory?
Are we upstairs?
Yeah, you're in the kitchen.
Oh, let's just go to the farm.
Garden? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the garden. So, what did you do to the guy on the planet?
Which guy?
The guy that seemingly just dropped down where he stood. But didn't die.
I put him in a coma.
Yeah. How?
Poison.
Flechette?
Sorry?
A weapon. Whatever it is. What is it?
It's called a needler. It fires syringes.
Hmm.
The leaves are readily available for purchase. It's not illegal.
No, but it is rare.
Yes,
How did you get that?
I was given it. Most military, they don't bother with botany. They want to kill, not slow.
Military. Private military.
all military. I don't understand
The
the
one that
question.
gave you the gun.
Oh. My teacher, I suppose. Why is this important? We have the gun.
Not a standard gun.
Would you rather I concealed it?
Oh, you seem to know how to use it quite well.
Yes, I did a lot of target practice.
Still haven't answered my question, private military.
I was never in the military.
Governmental work.
Mental work.
Governmental work.
Oh,
Corporate espionage.
no,
Mercenary.
no. I'm a botanist. That's why I'm here. That's my job.
Okay. I don't care who you were. I just need to know how many guns I need.
Haven't you got enough?
No.
You'll be fine.
We will be. I'm gonna get a new gun. For the ship.
Oh,
Yeah. I'm thinking. And he starts going off in technical specifications about this crazy ass massive particle accelerated ballista.
Okay. One additional thing. At some point, Karine, probably while you're in transit to Sumalis, there is a message hail from a station actually orbiting Sumalis. You don't recognize the messenger or who it's from, but essentially the signed the tag is Ceres Borm, and the message is for Nomi.
Nomi, there's a message for you from There's Balm. Should I send it to the garden for you? Forward it to my quarters. Thank you. Done. No problem.
It's been a while. Do you recognize that name?
I'm just running through my list. Hang on.
If you want, I could throw it your way. Think episode 1.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Sorry.
Yeah.
My brain's just caught up.
No, it's it's been a long time since we've heard from Ceres.
Yeah.
It's just a reasonably quick message. The initial part of which is like, "Hey, how you doing? A little nervous, you know."
Why are they always so nervous?
It's a mystery. And just essentially, you know, platitudes at best. Until the kind of final few sentences, which say,
The reason why I contacted you, and hopefully that's okay, is an old friend of yours came by, said was trying to get in contact with you, was essentially following your steps, and they said hopefully to see you soon. Didn't ask me to message you, but said if I ever saw you or contacted you again to tell you that regards from Ro. I assume that's his name. Is a very handsome gentleman. But yeah. Hopefully, if you ever need any work, I hear you're quite settled now on your ship, so please come back my way, and I'll see if I can set you up with some career jobs or anything along those lines. But you know, it's only if you want. It's yeah. Thank you. Bye.
And the message shuts off.
She'll sit there for a moment just in shock
Yeah.
and then go through the procedure for just completely erasing that message.
Yeah. No need to dwell on it too much, but I would say there's a longer drawn out flash of that scene that she had earlier. The rain, the veranda doors, the shadow in the flung open doors. And on the floor, the carpet, there is a body, and there is blood everywhere.
She looks genuinely angry.
Yeah.
For the first time. Like, all that mellow just fades for a second and she's furious.
And as the ship carries on towards the Sumala system, we will end there for today.
Can't wait till I find out that Nomi is a robot assassin from the future. She's come back in time.
You'd be insane.
That was the most confusing interrogation. You have no idea. When we get to the end of this campaign,
Oh my god.
watch
it
that
was so
scene
good.
back and you
Okay.
will understand why the fuck that was so confusing.
There's a lot of stuff that's gone on in Drifting from episode 1 where it's like, go back and watch that scene and you'll have like...
Yep.
Like, okay, I'll give you an example. If you've watched The Witcher season 1, but you had no idea what the fuck was going on the entire time, and then you rewatch it after understanding, you're like, that's...
Yeah.
Well, I can give you a few examples. Does everyone remember when Karine got the message about her aunt? And her and the captain were talking in the cockpit, and she mentioned her cousin, and he went like completely dead face, like, you know, like he just
Oh yeah, I
completely
forgot about that.
disconnected.
I didn't even know that. I didn't know that. I didn't know they were together.
Yeah.
I don't know why he gave me a chance. Now I do. Fuck.
And also the guy he shot in the mine. Like, you know, we still don't know the complete details of that, but he's clearly experienced something similar before, which explains...
Yeah, I was wondering because the way
Yeah, that's where Nomi's head's gone.
Yeah.
It's just like, has he had that or something similar?
Yeah, the way he dealt with it in the first episode was like, oh, so something, and then you started talking about this crazy zombie space station or some shit.
Yeah.
We don't actually know what it is, by the way. These are just guesses to what it is.
Yeah. They have about as much information as you guys do. So...
I'm
Yeah.
leaning towards corporate espionage now for Nomi, by the way.
I was wondering whether when Romy started talking about the the Angel's Smile, where the chat was gonna go crazy. It'd be like, it's Nomi! Nomi's the serial
That
killer!
sounds like such filth, by the
Yeah.
way. Just
Yeah, when you said it, I was like, yeah, that's no me. But then I'm like, no, it's not, but yeah, that's no me. My conspiracy hat is like, yeah, that's no serial killer, 100%.
Oh my god, I didn't even. My whole my brain has been so in.
Yeah, I'm
Karine.
sorry, Tess. Like,
No,
I
it's
hit
good.
You,
I love it.
I hit you with that
perfect.
news broadcast. I did say it before we started. I'm like,
You did.
I'm gonna throw
did.
you a curveball today, so just be prepared.
I kind of wasn't. Okay, so there's two things that happened there. One is I'm really used to Sheepy saying nothing big's gonna happen in a stream, and that means like horrible shit will fuck up my character. And I'm also I'm like kind of used to him saying something will happen, but it sometimes doesn't happen that particular episode.
Yeah.
So I kind of glossed over it. I was just like, I'm just gonna roll with it. It's gonna be a really emotional episode. I know that. I'm in Karine's fucked up headspace.
Yeah.
And so I was the whole time, and like I wasn't even paying attention to other stuff. And when that happened, I have this thing with advertisements where I kind of tune them out, no matter what they are, even if there's something I'm meant to listen to. I like tune them out of my head. And then I heard who it was, and I was like, wait.
Kimber Holt, and I saw you be like, oh.
Yeah. It was like I tuned back in, and I was just like, wait, did I hear what I honestly thought I like misheard at first. I was like, wait. I don't think that's like fully hit her,
Yeah.
but yeah,
There
like,
was already so much she was dealing with that it's like, oh, this too? Cool, thanks.
It was like Colton when she just said everything all at once in the space of 3 sentences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has to deal with all this insanity.
She's like, I feel so sad and all this kind of thing. Oh, by the way, my fiance is like worth billions of dollars, and my dad is the CEO of one of the most powerful companies in existence.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she just kind of was like, I just, at this point, I have to.
Oh, yeah, well, we gotta figure out what's happening here. I'm like, wait a minute, bitch, you just, go backwards right now, because what?
to give you some, to give you some context for Colton as well, like, 3/4 of the Navy's largest and most impressive ships are Delac made. And like they're big in the dry dock ship industry.
Oh, also, can we talk about Naomi just barefaced lying to the entire crew?
what?
Yeah.
When? What?
No one wants to
When
kill
we're all-
me.
Yeah,
They
everyone's
don't,
talking
he's-
about.
Oh,
That
actually,
person's
Literally
dead.
last episode, someone
Yeah,
tried
and
to
they're
kill
dead
you.
now.
to be fair,
She wasn't lying.
Nomi said no one's trying to kill me.
Yeah.
And that could very well mean right at this second no one is
At
trying to
that
kill me.
moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Like one person tried to kill me on an off chance because they saw my name and was like, "Oh, I'll have a pop." Like, no, I'm fine.
I was clearly not specific enough in my statement.
Phrasing is everything.
Yeah, the other two bits of the news broadcast, like just for everyone watching, you know, like here on Twitch or on YouTube later. Obviously, Hi YouTube. Obviously, there's more news on a more regular basis that you get. I just essentially, when I do these pieces, it's to filter the important things. You know, things that would like have some relevance to you or would be like influential enough to be of note. So, we had the
Sorry, I've just seen that comment in chat. That's glorious.
what happened?
No one wants to kill Astrid except the ship's electrical system.
Controlled by whom?
Let me just so there's an important fact that you need to know about Drashna. He has written the code for all of my keyboards and is like a genius computer programmer, technological, knowledgeable person. So when he speaks, you know it's fact.
So are you telling us that one day during the episode your keyboard's just gonna give you such a large electric shock it's gonna throw you
Your
across
hair's
the room?
gonna go like.
Possible. It's possible.
Is your hair actually gonna go messy instead of the most elegant thing you've ever seen in your fucking life?
So the I guess it is important to everyone here, but the first part of the news was the EAP Navy taking control of the terra firma station.
Yeah, I heard that.
It's probably not super important to all of you, aside from the fact that tensions are rising between the initiative, the EAP, and the inner government again. But yeah. The second one, of course, was the escalation on Prioris, which of course you guys were on recently. And now
You said a bunch of stuff, and I'm like, oh god,
Yeah.
shit is going down from this one news broadcast.
I can't believe you killed off Kimber still. What the fuck? Oh my god.
what you always
We're
say.
not allowed anything nice.
He was a nice guy.
He was a nice guy.
That's why he died.
I'll get to that in a second.
No, but you've killed like dozens of people on this ship. You don't get to say that.
Yeah, to be fair, you've killed more people than I have. I've got 2.
Prove
Wait,
it.
in the game, right?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Sure, yeah, in the game.
But it essentially,
Don't
like,
test me, dude. I know where you live.
essentially, more sections of Prioris have been cordoned off due to riots and terrorist attacks and stuff. And it's the initiative government is saying that it's because of reprisal attacks from terrorist cells. Because of you remember the hospital incident? I believe the medic spoke about it a little bit, where they.
The way it was done in the news, it read like double speak.
Yeah. It was also the
It's a civil war, right?
there's no way to know without going there.
It's a civil war.
Um,
Naomi is a robot assassin from the future. That's a civil war. And Karine is a flyaway bride.
yeah. But
Name of the episode! Name of the episode!
I don't name the episodes.
Damn it!
Yeah, I know.
Boo.
I know, like, yeah. But no, the hospital massacre was referenced, by Garkon, the really old guy who died in his sleep. He was going. Yeah, I know. But we have to maintain the.
Yeah.
Essentially, he was going to that hospital, and that's the one that his I think it was his daughter or granddaughter was in, and that's where she died. During that whole riot thing. So.
Okay, there's a number of things I want to draw attention to.
Okay.
Okay. One is Sheepy's crazy, amazing, crazy DM brain. Because I've never been so fucked up and so happy at the same time. It's so cool.
Did you see Nomi/Amelia's face when I said the name of who said their regards?
Fuck you.
Yeah. He just does that. It's amazing. And just Colton.
Yeah, dude.
That was
That was
really difficult.
Yeah.
It was so good.
That's one of the most difficult things I've had to do through a character because he's him, right? And then when you're like, "Thank you, Colton," and I'm like, "Oh, honey," but Colton has to go, "Okay."
was so perfect.
It's horrific.
It was
Dude, it
so
was really
perfect,
good.
though, the way you engaged in that, because he wouldn't have just gone, this person needs advice. She had to say enough shitty things about herself for him to be angry
Yeah.
to unlock
And I don't
that.
think she
and that
would have
was
listened
really
to
cool.
anybody else. Like, I don't think, maybe to Nomi, like, if Nomi had said something to her really logically, maybe, and Colton being angry with her was even, like, it was so perfect because nobody's ever been angry with her and told her the truth at the same time. Like, I think maybe only her aunt would have ever done that for her. Everybody else has always been either like telling her the wrong thing, that's her like familial duty, blah blah blah, or like nobody's ever really
telling
talked
her
to her
what
that
she
way.
thinks she needs to hear rather than what she actually needs to hear.
Exactly.
Well, there were some people who did. But we haven't really got into Blue Horizons yet, so.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. But yeah, I mean, nobody's been that honest with her and kind
In
of
a long
like,
time.
yeah, like woken her up the way Colton did in a long time, and so she really appreciated that.
And I feel it's more effective when you have a mostly gruff, unemotional person who suddenly, like, he breaks and he's like, none of this bullshit, I care,
Yeah.
damn it, boom.
Yeah,
It was kind of weird, actually. Like, I have that echoed in the scene with Romy, where essentially Nomi was like bolstering him, but just in a really fucking weird way.
Yeah.
Like, we make mistakes, that makes us better, we're more efficient after the mistake. The mistake is not the issue.
Yeah.
Repeating the mistake is the issue.
There was a little bit of GM fuckery in there as well, which came back later at the end of the episode.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know what the
I
fuck
was
is going
so
on with
close,
Nomi
but-
so bad.
Yeah.
I was so
Were
close, but I'm
you?
like, how do I approach this as Colton? I can't.
Nope.
So you get away with it this time.
Yeah.
Serial killer.
She was just so confused. Like, the way you were phrasing shit, she's like, no, you misunderstood. What?
Yeah, well, this is what he understands, right? It has to come from that
Like,
angle.
do you
and that's
want my
why-
gun? Is this the issue? Do you want it for your collection? Like, you can't have it.
No, it's
important.
non-lethal. What the fuck, bro?
It's funny and worrying because before we started this episode, before we went live, we were talking about how it is sometimes to have a conversation with me. And I was listening to the conversation between Colton and Nomi, and I was like, I understand where Nomi's coming from here. Like, he's not making that much sense. I'm like, oh shit, maybe I am the problem.
No.
Title of the episode.
Shit, maybe I am the problem. It's not even referencing anything that happened in the show. It's just a reference to me. But I think it is worth saying that unfortunately Safi's internet and technical stuff had a problem. Safi, we missed you in the episode, like for the rest of it, and we would love to have you here, but there is a reason why I stopped where I did, because obviously we're going to have to talk about what the crew wants to do about the mercenaries, and then we've got the trip to send the captain off in style. So I don't want to do
all I
that
have
without
to
Send the
say-
ship. Even though
Wait.
Colton has called Romy captain twice now. And he didn't fight back, so maybe.
He got out what he wanted to say and his worries.
Yeah, but he didn't go, no.
I mean, he told you a really disturbing backstory about his
Yeah.
choices leading to everyone dying.
Yeah.
I feel like that was a little bit of a I'm not sure about this sting.
But then we all had a conversation about stuff we've all done and people died. That was like a bonding moment over death.
I think
Over the fact that people fucking hate us.
I think the most interesting thing about the aftermath of last episode, which is essentially the entirety of this episode, is the crew has bonded even closer after the thing kind of holding them together died and just left.
You know what it feels like? You know that Spider-Man meme where everyone's pointing
Yeah.
at each other? Kind of like, oh, we're...
Except Nomi's on top of the van watching it, going, why are they doing that?
Look, a van.
She's just
Yeah.
pointing at the
Yeah,
van.
Nomi's pointing at the van like,
Oh, we all... Yep, van.
is this I Spy?
Oh my god.
I don't
Nomi's like,
understand
"Yep."
the game.
Yep, there you are.
I look forward to everyone understanding that punching bag reference as well in the future, whenever we get around to that.
Yeah.
Well, she got into her teacher, which is well interesting.
Yeah.
So she's a highly trained robot assassin from the future.
Yep.
That's confirmed now.
Teacher, programmer, it's the same, really, isn't it?
It is.
So what about all of that
Religion.
Project Apex and all of that stuff?
I
that
just
sounds
want to
cool.
know. I want to know what
Everything.
Yeah.
That's the annoying thing, because like I'm playing a character, but Peachy wants like I want to know everything, what's going on, everything here, and Carlton's just like. Okay,
Also,
whatever.
why are people trying to kill Colton? Excuse me. Wait a minute.
Yeah, we
Because
glossed over
Karine
that
was
one.
kind of like too fucked up at the moment to really understand that, but she's gonna come
Yeah.
back to that. She
Yeah.
remembers that.
But I feel the same as you, Peachy. Like me, I want to know what all that's about, and Nomi's like, that is not currently my job. I am a botanist.
that.
Sorry,
yeah.
did you say botanist or robotanist?
Hey! And on that bombshell.
Yeah. Does anyone else have anything else they want to touch on? I think the only other thing I want to go on is like it was nice to get the captain's backstory out. You know, like a lot of what he was. It's not very happy. He's essentially been miserable for like 10 years, and then died when he'd finally found people to like hang out with.
Well, we had all those hints to all that stuff, and that was basically the perfect time to go, here's the answers to all that stuff, or you know, here is another question that is brought up because you've got.
But there are answers in there as well.
Yeah, there are a ton of answers.
Yeah, it's
The show is so fucking good.
It was a good episode, and all we did was just hang around and go, hey, you, people like killing me.
I cry laughed a lot of times, and I still really want to know. Okay, I have so many questions about Nomi, and I have so many questions about Colton, and we miss Safi, and we love her.
Yeah.
Fucking internet, get yourself together.
There was one show when I was doing Roll for It where my power cut out in the middle of the show, and I was GMing, and essentially I just dropped, and like my power just went out, and I was like,
oh,
it's such a bad feeling, but you know, it's console yourself with it is unavoidable when your power goes out or when you have electrical issues or you know, technical stuff like that. So it is what it is. We got by fine. I kind of held back going any further because we want Safi and also Astrid there for it. I feel like if we don't have Astrid, things will turn into chaos and murder way too quickly. And if we have Astrid, things may go even worse, but we're not sure. We're not sure which way Astrid's jumping on the whole mercy is a mistake thing that some people here have.
I hope that comes up for Carlton, because I think I have an interesting angle for that for Carlton.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah.
The next exciting episode of Drifting, Mondays.
I wish it was
7
tomorrow,
p.m.
but it's next Monday.
Next Monday.
Gotta wait.
Let's go around and say whoever it is and where we can find you, and if someone wants to do the outro for Safi, that would be great. We'll start with the emotional core of this episode, the one who cried much more than anyone else, although I teared up quite a few times, honestly. Tess, and also Karine.
God. Colton both made me feel better and made me cry more at the same time. It was so good. I stream on my channel usually on Saturdays. Right now I'm doing a lot of Elden Ring. I'm stuck on a boss, which is basically like the state of things in Elden Ring for everyone in the universe. Always. Yeah, I'm raising money for the Ukraine because I was born in Russia, moved to the U.S., and am an American citizen. I am very fucking lucky. So lucky. Have family in both countries. The whole thing is really fucked up. Yeah, so yeah, I will keep doing this charity thing for as long as it's happening. So yeah, you can find me on Saturdays, and I might stream tonight or tomorrow or sometime during the week. I'm highly likely to stream tonight because apparently I look cute today, so why not?
If you want one mystery from this stream solved, follow Tess so you can tell you find out when she streams.
There you go. Very good. Very good. Yes. Also, I'm just really lucky to be on this cast and on this show because Sheepy, like I said, is a mad genius of things. And Peachy is the reason that I get to do roleplay these days because I knew him from doing roleplay like a really long time ago and I really didn't know what I'm doing. Not that I know what I'm doing now. I don't at all. But I'm helped by these amazing talents, and that hugely includes Safi. Super, super, super huge thank you to the amazing Amelia, Nomi, Peachy, Colton, and Sheepy, who is like everybody, and Safi, Astrid, and just everybody. They're amazing. Go follow all of them. You should definitely go follow Safi. I don't know when she streams, but she's like
Sundays.
Thank you.
And there is another day in there, and I've forgotten, and I'm now a bad friend. But Sundays.
It's Safi Pie. It's SAFFYPIE on Twitch. And she is literally like a fucking rock star role player. She does all kinds of different stuff, and I've seen her in all kinds of different stuff, like things that are visual and things that aren't. I remember I was watching her play Phasmophobia like a really long time ago, and I like wanted to jump into the game to like help her character because her character, she just played it so well. It was so cool. So just like go check out her stream because any stream she does, she's just really fucking entertaining and cool and a badass and gorgeous and amazing. Just go fucking follow her, okay? If you don't, you're gonna regret it because you'll find her later and you'll be like, people recommended you to me ages ago and now I realize what I've been missing. So go do it right now. Okay?
No
After you
pressure or
gonna
anything,
hate
but
these
do it.
shout-outs, you realise.
What she said. And moving on to Colton and Peachy and his house.
Pile on the Safi hype train because I know how much she hates it.
Yeah.
She's really entertaining. Go check her out. She has these lovely, calm little streams, and then she just loses it wherever game she's playing. It's great.
She freaked out playing Unpacking.
Unpacking. I get angry at the dumbest shit.
I
because it's
recommended
funny,
that to her because it's mellow.
She's playing Unpacking going, that is not where this goes. Okay? Where's the air fryer?
You know what I want to see Safi play? Pipe Dream.
I don't think I've seen that.
Did I date myself a little too much? It's a really old game where you connect pipes so that
With
water
the water, the Bioshock minigame for hacking.
Oh, I fucking love that. Oh, I want to play that.
No,
every
never
day.
say a hacking minigame is good, because that's a lie.
That's
Speaking
my
of lies, my name's
jam.
Peachy Pixelate. That's my official name.
Yeah, Peachy.
And I stream every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. No guessing. I always do that. Come check me out, because I'm just amazing. This is where you back me up, friends. Hello.
Oh,
he is amazing. He's a fucking rock star.
Jesus,
He's actually here. Why do we have to say nice
I thought
things
it went
about
without
him?
saying, to be honest. So.
Okay.
This is true. He also makes a lot of really, really fucking incredible music, just in case you weren't aware.
Oh, I found a new VR game where you make music in VR, which I'm trying to set
cool.
up, see if I can do that. So,
Oh my God,
follow
please.
me
Jay says
and then
you're
find out when I-
mediocre.
Yes.
He loves you.
Jay said he's mediocre. One of my cards that can get played on my stream is him telling me what a wonderful streamer I am, and every time I hear it, like my eye starts going and I get a cluster headache back here.
Peachy was also the GM of Glitch, which was a beautiful 4-shot TTRPG show that we ran on this channel. And I got to play someone in a mask, which was a lot of fun.
I regret doing that because now I have so many ideas
Yeah.
for TTRPGs. I keep saying, I keep messaging Sheepy going, yo, what about if we just but with this?
Yeah. Mate, that's my entire life at this point. I've got so many fucking ideas. But let's not forget Robot Android herself,
Hey.
Nomi, and also Millie. Hey, what's
Robot
up?
Hi.
Assassin from the future, please.
Hello.
Thank you.
Sorry,
Oh, from the future, yeah.
specifically from the future.
We talk about how fucking cool Nomi and Millie are.
Yeah, sure. I mean, that was Yeah.
I mean, she's cold.
Do it, Millie.
If that makes sense.
She's really good at shouting herself out.
Yeah, that was a very weird scene, having her interrogated, essentially. Just like, I don't know, I'm a... and I
No, speak English.
Yeah. Yeah, that was very peculiar for reasons I can't go into right now. But yeah, I'm good. I've overcommitted, as per. But this time, way more than normal. So I'm streaming pretty much something every day this week, apart from Saturday, I want to say.
Okay.
So it's going to be like Phasmophobia and then Wild RP tomorrow. Probably Wild RP with Jay on Wednesday. Thursday is Game of Thrones role-playing game on Follow Black Cats. Friday is Vampire the Masquerade with Sci-fi.
Yeah.
I'm playing the Slaggy Vampire. She's great fun.
That's a great point. Gaming FTL, Josh. Go give him a follow as well.
Yeah, somebody do a link for him. We're doing a really cool Vampire the Masquerade campaign.
I'm trying.
Thank you.
I'm still
Do it.
Yeah, Amelia and Safi and Domestic Dan and Classy Katie are being GM'd by Josh on his channel. It's Vampire, it's awesome, and you should go.
So
and
much
check it out.
fun. Yeah. It's not often, because I've never done anything like that with Josh before, and having to seduce your GM first session is a weird experience.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna leave that there. Yeah. And then Sunday I'm back on Ophelia's channel, painted bright red to be a tiefling. Yay! It's so much fun.
You are crazy.
Yeah, I'm making arm socks though for the next episode, because that was a silly idea.
That's less crazy.
Those are called gloves, by the way. Okay.
Well, no, because the gloves that go all the
Arm
way up and
socks.
over. Arm socks.
Arm socks. Look at my arm socks.
It's better than covering everything I own in red paint.
I believe those are called sock puppets, and they're a sign of insanity.
Mr. Flibble is very cross.
We didn't check out what was on the USB stick.
No, you don't.
Oh yeah. Oh fuck.
Sorry, I'm sorry. Carry on.
I was going to message you about that, Sheepy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on it.
So, the only other thing to say is we're going off to the outro, which, of course, was made by the wonderful Safi Pie. Just another reason to go follow her, big her up on the stream, all that type of thing. We look forward to seeing you next week, where I don't know exactly what we're going to do, but you can probably take a few guesses. So thanks for watching, everyone, and we will see you next week.
Where do I move in this world? Could you please tell me what the hell I'm doing for it? Bring me to my knees. I'm so stupid. Would you tell me honestly if I wasn't meant to be what I see when I dream? Where do I move in this world? Could you please tell me what the hell I'm doing for it? Bring me to my knees. I'm so stupid. Would you tell me honestly if I wasn't meant to be what I see when I dream? It's a big, big world out there. Plenty possibilities. All of them is killing me soft. I want the real me figured out right here, right now. Is this lifestyle the right style for me? Only with time will I see. But by then it'll be too late. Looking in the mirror at a stranger's face. If I wasn't right, would you tell me straight, or would you let me? Where do I move in this world? Could you please tell me what the hell I'm doing for it? Bring me to my knees. I'm so stupid. Would you tell me honestly if I wasn't meant to be what I see when I dream? Where do I move in this world? Could you please tell me what the hell I'm doing for it? Bring me to my knees. I'm so stupid. Would you tell me honestly if I wasn't meant to be what I see when I dream? I want something great instead of all dismay, but I can't find my way. I fall on my face, I flatline my faith. I want all escape, let's throw it all away. Just like the thoughts I trade for a couple of bucks in this big bucket of love. I'm steady throwing my up, hoping for that 1 in 100. But fuck stressing the numbers. Pop this deck in your summer and see the inner of my head declog like a plunge. Y'all be akin to my feces. Your best bet be the Bee Gees. The way you think living's staying alive. I got my head and my smile, but don't know where I'll fly. I'm just spreading my wings. I'm fine with taking my time. I used to rush it all out. I'm trying to slow it all down. Take my feet and lose ground. Give them somewhere to hang. I always want it right now. Trying to slow it all down. Take my mind and lose ground. Watch it floating away. Yeah. Where do I move in this world? Could you please tell me what the hell I'm doing for it? Bring me to my knees. I'm so stupid, would you tell me honestly if I wasn't meant to be what I see when I dream? Where do I move in this world? Could you please tell me what the hell I'm doing for it? Bring me to my knees. I'm so stupid, would you tell me honestly if I wasn't meant to be what I see when I dream?